Well, hello, howdy vinyl community, it's Matt. I'm back again for another video. Great to be back. Great to do another quick one here. I've got some really good stuff planned for the coming weeks or so. I'm hoping next week to get a really good one done for you. I have a really good idea. But in the interim, before I get to that one, I didn't want to let too much time go by before I did another video. So I thought I would do this one. It's to thank somebody, and it's to show couple of recent finds that I got at a used record store. And that's about it. Just to stay in touch with you, say hello, wish you all a happy 4th of July 2018. All the best, be safe tomorrow. Remember, if you're going to have a few adult beverages, well, you know the drill, you know what not to do. Just be safe out there, have a good time, and see you all again real soon. Okay, so it's always nice when you get a cool package in the mail, whether it be from a record store or a company from another part of the country or one of the bigger companies like Amazon or Discogs or Elusive Disc or any of those companies out there. But when you get one from a fellow member of the vinyl community, it really makes you happy, because it doesn't happen too often. Let's face it, if we exchange stuff with everybody in the vinyl community all the time, we could never do it. I mean, it's virtually impossible. So you kind of have to pick and choose certain events that spark you to decide that you're going to send somebody to something, send something to somebody, I should say. Sorry, just got out of work. I'm a little tired. You have to pick and choose how you do things, when you send things. It has to be possibly a reason behind it. But regardless, it's always nice when you get one. Well, you remember several weeks ago, Fit to be Tie-Dyed, Paul, our friend from Canada, did a great video about April wine, and hence when he did that great video, he sparked me to go back and find this in my collection, which is my Nature of the Beast by April Wine from 1981, still in the shrink wrap, that I hadn't listened to in the longest time, but I loved so much, and loved the song, especially Just Between You and Me. It's a fantastic song, and it sparked me to get into this again and start thinking about April wine again. Look, to the point that I'm wearing an April wine t-shirt, folks. I had to get one. It was very inexpensive. I found it on one of my favorite t-shirt sites, and I grabbed it. And so Paul, Fit to be Tie-Dyed, this is in homage to you, my friend. April Wine, a great Canadian rock and roll band, and I'm going to be sporting this for a while. Okay, so I ordered that, got back into my Nature of the Beast, which also sparked me to go out and purchase 2 more April Wine albums. Their 1982 Power Play album. Okay, and I've showed you these before because I did a follow-up video when I was getting back into it, and I also got First Glance from 1978. All right, and I said to myself, well, I'll be looking for other April Wine albums, and Paul, Fit to be Tie-Dyed, recommended a few, and lo and behold, folks, and I won't show you the front because of personal information, but I got this in the mail from my friend and yours, Fit to be Tie-Dyed. He made that April Wine video, he watched my April Wine video, my follow-up, and he was so happy that I got back into the band and was really into the band because of his video, that he sent me a nice little package. So I've already opened it, obviously, but I'm going to show you what's in it right now. The first thing he did is he sent me a nice note, which I just dropped. A very nice note telling me about this stuff he sent me. Let me show you it first. First thing he sent me was their 1979 album, which kind of filled a gap. I have First Glance from 78, I had Nature of the Beast from 81, and I had Power Play from 82. But there was one in the middle I didn't have, and that's from 1979. It's called Harder, Faster. And here it is. Look at that beauty. Harder, Faster. April Wine. And I'm so happy to get this one because Paul was right. He recommended it. He said if I'm into power pop, if I'm into that kind of, late 70s, early 80s rock and roll, I'd get into it. And he was right. I love this album. It rocks. But what makes it even more special to me is you get an inner sleeve with a picture of the band on it and such. Paul sent. Okay, that came with it. But he put it in a nice plastic sleeve for me, which I really appreciate. I should do more of that myself, actually. I don't do it enough. But what's cool is it's a Canadian pressing. You see, all my April Wine records, my other 3, are all on Capital EMI, which is nice. It's nice to have them on Capital, on the purple label mainly. But this is a nice Canadian pressing. So I don't mind my dehumidifier, by the way. Look at this. It's on Aquarius Records. I love that. I mean, I've never had a record on Aquarius Records, which is a Canadian label, I assume, and this is a Canadian pressing of April Wine's Harder, Faster. So I loved that. I just love that he sent me an album that's a pressing that I would normally never see or get. So thank you for that, Paul. Nice to get an Aquarius pressing of Harder, Faster. Okay. The other cool thing he sent me in the box, and I wish this was on vinyl, because if this was on vinyl, I would get it in a minute. They did like a little reunion album, I guess, around, Paul wrote it down for me. Should give you some. Okay, so here's the April Wine album, Harder, Faster, from 1979. This is the record they put out after First Glance, which came out in 78, and the second album to feature Brian Greenway, who is still with the band. April Wine was producing a harder rock sound at this point, so the title of the album is quite appropriate. But the CD, this is cool. This is called April Wine Back to the Mansion. He sent me, Back to the Mansion. The CD is a copy I made of a great studio album they did in 2001, so they reunited years later, or not that they ever broke up, but I mean some of the original lineup got back together in 2001. I don't think it was ever available on vinyl, and the CD seems to be very hard to get at a reasonable price. And he put it together with really super files, so it sounds amazing, and I have to agree with that. He mentions it here about it sounding so good, and he asked if I like it. And Paul, as you know, we've written personally to one another. You know how much I love this album and love so many of the songs on it. I love all the songs, as I told you. There's not one bad song on this album, folks. This is a keeper. But there's definitely half the album really blows me away. But the whole thing is good. And so thank you so much, Paul, for this. Back to the Mansion. Great, great album. Love it. This classic April Wine, but brought up into the modern era, and it sounds beautiful. Okay. So Paul, Fit to be Tie-Dyed people, you know him, you love him, he's a great guy. Thank you so much, Paul, for getting me back into April Wine, turning me on to them again, getting me collecting a few of their things again. Not sure if I'll be able to get the whole collection as you had, but certainly this era, this period is the period where I really love them so much. That 78 to 82 era is just fabulous, and I love that recent album from 2001. Back to the Mansion. Thank you. It's awesome, as I told you privately. I love it. Okay, a few other things, folks. Want to make this kind of quick today. A few things I've picked up recently in tribute to my dad and I doing those series of videos. We made 3 videos about memories together, and I did a follow-up video reading your notes to him, your comments, and he loved that. And maybe someday I'll do another video with him. I have to get some ideas and think of some things to do with him. If you have any good ideas, by the way, please send me something my dad would enjoy doing. You know, I'd like to try to get some good ideas how I can have some more fun with them. So please feel free to give me some ideas. Al Hirt. This is called Honey in the Horn. And this is one I remember as a kid, and I don't know what happened to my dad's original, but he was big into Al Hirt. We talked about another Al Hirt album that I had, and he mentioned how much he liked Al Hirt back in the day. So this is Honey in the Horn. This one has his big hit on it, Java. You may know Java, the instrumental. This is a great album. I've listened to it a couple of times in recent weeks since I got it, and I love it. Great stuff. Okay, next thing I got is ELO's, well, final at the time, as the original run of the band, ELO's Balance of Power from 1986. This is a great album. Again, different sound for ELO. Don't forget they changed. They were into the orchestral type sounds and just so bombastic and wonderful. I love their early stuff. But then about 1979 or so, after the Out of the Blue came out in 77, when Discovery came out in 79 with Shine a Little Love and Don't Bring Me Down and all that stuff, from there out to the end of their first run, they kind of, it was a different style of music, more pop and rock orientated, less on the instrumentation stuff, the orchestral stuff. And Balance of Power is just a fabulous album. I love it, and it's one I didn't have on vinyl, so I grabbed it. Okay, if any of you have heard, I know many of you heard of the Searchers, but how many of you know that back in 1979, 3 out of the 4 original members got together with another drummer, different drummer named Gordon something is his name, I forget his name. I'm sorry, not even Gordon, it's Billy Adamson, was a new drummer they added. In 1979, they put out an album simply called The Searchers, self-titled, on Sire Records, and it's a fabulous album. Well, they did this lineup, the original 3 guys with this Billy Adamson guy, did one more album in I want to say it's 1981. Yeah, 1981 on Sire, so they did one in 79, one in 81. This one's called Love's Melodies on Sire. And you can see the price on it, but that's so what. Yeah. Great album, folks. The Searchers Sire Records years, 79, 81, you get 2 albums worth of music, and you can get it on one CD called The Sire Years, and there might be other titles for it. I highly recommend it. They got back together and did these 2 albums, The Searchers, and then this one, Love's Melodies, and they're fabulous. Top-notch, A-plus, power pop rock and roll. Highly recommended. Search them out. Search out The Searchers, okay? Get Love's Melodies and get the first self-titled Searchers album. They're both on Sire Records, or you can get them combined on one CD. Great, great stuff. Highly recommended. Now you might be saying, Matt, why do you have this? Don't you have it already? Well, yes I do. I have Wildlife, and I hear later this year that the Archive series is going to be releasing Wildlife, so I'm really looking forward to that. I really like this album a lot. Not in my top Paul albums of all time, but it's certainly grown on me through the years to the point that I really enjoy it. And, well, the reason I got this, folks, is because this is an original pressing. It's original on the original label and everything. I'm going to show you right now. It has the pictures of Linda and Paul. Okay, there's Linda. And I did not have an original pressing of this. And it's in mint condition, as you can see the album. Look at this cover, it's beautiful. Not a stain on it. The only problem with it, though, it does have a sticker on it, folks. So, Debbie Levitt, must be from the New England area, because that's where I'm from. This record belongs to Debbie Levitt. All right, so Debbie Levitt, Matthew Street has your Wildlife album that you bought probably back in the early 70s, I would assume. So, there you go. But it's in beautiful mint condition, folks. I could not pass it up. And last but not least on my recent finds is, in homage again to my father and doing the videos with you, remember how much he loves Three Dog Night and loved them back in the day and still enjoys them to this day. And he had 2 of their albums that I cannot listen to without shooting right back to my childhood. And that's the Naturally album and the Harmony album. Three Dog Night Naturally and Harmony. Those 2 albums my dad had, played them incessantly. I know every song on those 2 albums. Well, it's kind of sparked me to go back and in tribute to my dad, pick up some more Three Dog Night that he didn't have from back in the day. So I'm getting original pressings. I finally found my first one at the store today, and it was called It Ain't Easy, Three Dog Night. Here's the back. And the big song on this one is Mama Told Me Not to Come. If you're familiar with Three Dog Night, then you'll be familiar with that song. And there's Out in the Country is a great song. I'm sure any of you that are fans of Three Dog Night know. But I got It Ain't Easy. And there's several more Three Dog Nights. They broke up in '75. I think they put out their first album in 1969 or so. So I've got a few I've got to search for, but I was so happy to find this one in like mint condition. It's just pristine. It's just beautiful on the Dunhill label, ABC Dunhill. So boy, if you've never gotten into them, folks, all I can tell you is give them a try. Get their best of and tell me that this is not a great band and an enjoyable band to listen to. Three Dog Night. Check them out. Okay, that's it, folks. One thing. Oh, I picked up a 45. What do you know? I had this thrown on the side. I love this song. The lyrics to it brings me back to my youth, my childhood, as many of you possibly as well. It's the Carpenters' Yesterday Once More single. It's on A&M Records. Okay. So that's it. And that song I love it. I could listen to it all day. So that's it, folks. I just want to do a little quick hit for you and have something out there fairly recent for you. And then I do have a big one planned in the next week or so, and I'll get that up as soon as possible. Thanks so much again for watching. Thank you, Paul, Fit to be Tie-Dyed, my friend out there in Canada. Thank you so much for being so nice to me. And I did send him a little something. You may have seen his video. And it's just so nice to exchange with such good people and be in touch with good people. That's the whole point. Just have some contact and enjoy each other's company, so to speak, and our kinship in music together. It makes it all worthwhile doing these videos and meeting all of you on the comments and whatnot and responding. So thank you all. Thank you again. God bless everybody. Enjoy the 4th of July for you people out of the country. And have a drink, have a toast, have an adult beverage anyway, and enjoy. Okay, take care, everybody. All the best. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.